Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Fresh Perspective. I am Donna Saw. I'm with Bree Ezra, and we are welcoming Karen Wittes. She is a woman I truly admire, and she exemplifies the power of commitment. Karen, I don't even know how to say this, Karen. Karen was the victim of a trauma years ago that should have left her dead, and instead she has turned her efforts to passing Senate Bill 1023 called Karen's Law. It calls on Pennsylvania to amend existing parole laws extending the parole application period for sexually violent predators from 1 to 3 years. Welcome, Karen.
Hi. How are you?
I can't hear her, Bree.
Uh-oh.
There she is. Hi. We are having technical difficulties all week. I think it's me. Anyway, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it. So we're going to talk today about Karen's Law and where it stands, but maybe you can spend a couple minutes telling people how you came to this point in time and share whatever you want. You don't have to go deep into your story, but just so people have some frame of reference.
Okay, yeah. Well, without going into too much depth, I'm a survivor of a violent crime. I was obsessively stalked for many years by my ex-boyfriend before he followed through with his ultimate plan to try to take my life. I was strangled twice. I was beaten unconscious. I was raped. Then he stabbed me multiple times in the chest with a serrated butcher knife. He shoved me under a bed and left me for dead. With that, since I survived such a brutal, horrific attack, which he was planning, it should have been a murder. Since I survived, he was sentenced a much lighter sentence. He was given aggravated assault and rape, and he was sentenced to 15 to 40 years. And after those first 15 years, he was eligible for parole. And under current Pennsylvania law, inmates are allowed to apply for parole every single year. And for instance, in my case, my attacker in 2014, he came up for parole, and he was ordered by the parole board to serve out his maximum sentence. He had already served 20 years, but then the parole board reviewed him again in 2014, and he was ordered to serve 20 more years to his sentence. However, even though the Pennsylvania parole board ordered that, the inmate was still able to apply for parole every single year, regardless of what the parole board ordered.
And that was the biggest thing, and you and I have talked many times before, but that was one of the biggest things that I was stunned by in the entire story. They parole boards mean nothing. I mean, realistically, they mean nothing. They're just like hey, by the way, maybe you could follow this. But if the criminal doesn't like it, he or she gets to do whatever they want, and you get to be stuck in this pattern that you can't ever break.
Well, see, what it does is it allows certain offenders to re-traumatize and re-victimize their victims from behind bars, even. Yeah. So it's like if the parole board deems my attacker to be such a high risk and a danger to society, whereas though they don't want to even review him again and they want him to serve out 20 more years, he can simply kind of stalk me from behind bars still by just reapplying for parole himself every single year, re-victimizing me.
It's incredible. It's one of the biggest, it seems, loopholes in the system. I mean, are you shocked that someone before you didn't talk about this or didn't come up with this?
Very shocked. But however, I do understand at the same time, because it is a painful and grueling thing that you don't know until you're actually living it, and it's horrific. It's so much trauma. Sometimes it feels worse than the actual crime itself. So I can understand why people just want to kind of go into a hole and just, curl up and they just want it to go away. So it does take a lot of drive and a lot of fight to actually stand up. And I can understand why a lot of victims, just remain silent because it is so painful.
Yeah. And that's what's so incredible about you because, you exemplify the power of commitment. And here you are, one person who suffered through this tremendous experience and tremendous tragedy, and you're standing up, and instead of just doing your time, you're doing your time in a way that has the potential to change things for everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do for for all victims.
So tell us, where is the bill? Are you familiar with the process of getting a bill passed, and where is?
For the most part. For the most part. Currently, the bill is in the Senate Judiciary Committee, and it's awaiting consideration for a vote. From there, it goes on to the Senate floor, to be voted on. From there, it goes on to the House, and from there, it goes to the governor's desk, where the governor can either sign it, veto it, or do nothing. And if he does nothing, it becomes law anyway. So right now, we are currently awaiting consideration for a vote in the Senate Judiciary Committee, and the chairman for that is Senator Stuart Greenleaf.
Karen?
Yes?
Oh, good. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought there was something after that. I'm hanging on every word and waiting for the rest of the sentence. I'm thinking, oh, great, technical problems again. No. Okay. So basically there's one more step in the process.
Well, there's a few more. It goes for a vote, and then if everything goes well with the vote in the Senate floor, if everything goes well with that, then it moves on to the House. Then it has to be voted on through the House. Then from there it goes to the governor.
Now, what do you think in terms of votes? Do you have the votes that you need?
For the most part, we have a lot, but we're asking all of the listeners if they can kindly and respectfully call Senator Greenleaf's office to please ask him to consider Karen's Law, SB 1023, in the Senate Judiciary Committee for a vote. I actually have his phone number here, and I have clearance that I can give it out to your listeners if they would like to call.
Great. Yes, please do.
Okay, Senator Greenleaf's phone number for his office is 717-787-6599. Again, that's 717-787-6599. And you just call Senator Greenleaf, Chairman Greenleaf, and you just ask him to please consider Karen's Law, SB 1023, for a vote in the Senate Judiciary Committee.
Wow, it could be almost that easy and that difficult, huh?
Yeah, I know. Exactly. The sponsoring senator, Senator Sabatina, he's actually actively working with Chairman Greenleaf right now to answer any questions that he has about this legislation, but we need the backing from the community. We need PA residents to say, hey, look, this bill needs to pass. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Wow. So all of our listeners can simply pick up the phone and call 717-787-6599 and make their voices heard and their wishes known. Can you even imagine someone not voting for this bill?
I know. It's to alleviate so much trauma that victims who have already been traumatized innocently from violent crime, we have to go through this every single year, and it's like our attackers get the chance to keep re-victimizing us. It's completely unfair.
Yeah, and what's that like every year? I mean, how do you take care of yourself through this? Because, I mean, you almost have to live expecting it, right? So you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, and then it may or may not. Mm-hmm. And then you've got to go through the process. Do you get hardened to the process, or do you learn to take care of yourself better through the process?
It's a combination of both. I mean, it's terrible. It's actually agonizing. I mean, you just have to wait with so much anxiety and fear to see if your attacker is going to be released on the streets or not. And, the last time he was up for parole, the parole board even deemed him a high risk and a danger to society as well as myself. So he's not, better. He's definitely a risk. And, it depends on who you get on the parole board. It's a different person each time. So you never know what they're going to be thinking and how they're going to be doing things. So
I mean, it's hard to believe with your story that somebody would let this guy out of prison. And, I think what's infuriating to me about it is not only that because he lived, you have to do this.
Yes.
Because he lived. So when he went to jump off the bridge, that officer pushed him as opposed to try to pull him back. I don't mean to laugh, but you know what I mean? There's fine lines. It could have made all the difference in terms of what you have to go through.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't even mention that part to your listeners. After he was trying to murder me, and he went to the Tacony-Palmyra Bridge to jump to end his life. However, the arresting officer pulled him back and arrested him, and he should have just let him jump, yes. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Hey, Karen, we're going to take a break and hear from our sponsors. Would you hang with us, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
This is Fresh Perspective. We're going to be right back.
Hi, this is Ron McNeil, host of the Ron Swap Shop Show, to tell you the show is airing every day, again, Monday through Friday, but with an hour less. The new hours are 11 a.m. till noon through the week, same format, with the call-ins from the audience with their goods and wants and so on, and also the tips, the news stories, the human interest, a little humor, and, of course, the useless information of the day. So here's the number for the Swap Shop, 610-701-9243, 610-701-WCHE. Give me a call. I was on the Internet the other day and typed in Karp and Hart Law. I wanted to see the website, which my friends Steve Karp and Peter Hart created. As you know, Steve Karp hosted Legal Talk on WCHE for many years. Karp and Hart limits its law practice to only serious personal injury cases. Their website is filled with great legal articles, including interesting cases, legal tips, and profiles on Steve and Peter. Their website also discusses their areas of practice, including auto accidents, dog bites, slip and falls, cancer misdiagnosis, medical prescription errors, motorcycle accidents, nursing home abuse, and wrongful death. You'll meet with Steve Karp personally, an attorney with 40 years' experience in personal injury trial law, not some young lawyer or paralegal. If you've been injured, go to karpandhartlaw.com. That's spelled K-A-R-P and Hart, H-A-R-T, law.com. Or give Steve Karp a call at his office, 610-430-2200. That's 610-430-2200. And remember, Karp and Hart is the Chester County personal injury law firm with a heart.
From Westchester to Coatesville, from Kennett to Chester Springs, from Parksburg to Paoli, this is your home for all things Chester County. WCHE 1520 AM, the talk of Chester County.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Fresh Perspective. I am Donna Solom with Bree Ezra, and we're talking with Karen Wittes. She survived an attack that was designed to leave her for dead, and because her attacker lived, he gets to apply for parole anytime he wants and put her through the process again. She's the voice behind Senate Bill 1023 called Karen's Law, which is calling on Pennsylvania to amend existing parole laws, extending the parole application period for sexually violent predators from 1 to 3 years. It won't do away with it, but it will extend the time so victims at least have the chance to heal in between. The chairman of the committee is Senator Greenleaf, and his phone number, please write it down and make a call, is 717-787-6599. Ask him, please, to pass Karen's Law 1023. Welcome back, Karen. Thanks for hanging.
Thank you so much for having me.
Are there other components of this bill that you want to share with us?
Well, sure. It not only does it, decrease the re-victimization during the parole process for sexually violent predators, for the victims of sexually violent predators, it also saves taxpayer dollars by decreasing the number of parole hearings for sexually violent predators. And it also joins with existing laws to extend the waiting period for parole application made by select violent offenders.
Why do you think they even get a chance to apply for parole and can't just basically serve out their sentence?
I have no idea. I can't answer that.
I see regular criminals who get, and granted, in a lot of cases, the justice system is unfair, but this one is more than fair. When people hear your story in depth, and there are plenty of ways they can find out your story that doesn't have to be here, there is just no question about this man's guilt and about what he intended to do. So I guess I'm always incredulous about how the laws work, that once you get into the system works for the accused and does not work for the victim.
Absolutely right, yes.
And, it's kind of interesting. When I talked to you the very first time, I could tell you had been through the court system, because people who have a way of describing their experiences that are so specific that, and you have to be that specific. Yeah. But it makes it really hard to hear. It makes people's hearts really break. And I can't imagine having to live with that every single year. What do you do in the meantime? Like, for other people going through this process who haven't been able to maybe stand up and speak up the way you have, what kinds of things could you offer as support or advice?
Well, it depends on the degree. It depends on the person. Everybody is different. So for some people, it might be as simple as just reaching out and talking to somebody who they feel comfortable with, or doing something like I'm doing right now, advocating, speaking publicly. I find that empowers me greatly. So speaking publicly for me works. Maybe it might not work for other people. Maybe somebody else might want to be, more quiet about things, and that's the way they feel more comfortable to handle things. So it depends on the person, basically. My advice to any survivor would be, you know what's best for yourself. Listen to what you need. Don't let anybody else tell you how you should and shouldn't be feeling. You know what's best for yourself.
Yeah, and it is a very personal, private way of walking through your life,
Yeah.
So what happens after, tell us again, what is the next step of the process after this step? It goes to the house, and
right.
Now we start the process all over again and calling different, as listeners, calling different people?
Pretty much for the most part. From what I've been told, the House part is easier than the Senate part. Mm-hmm. That's just what I've been told. Mm-hmm. So that should be easier than what we're doing. But at any point in the process, it can be amended, and so then we might have to start all over again. So, they're not kidding when they say it takes a lot to pass a bill.
How long does it take in terms of years, do you know?
It could be, a very quick process, depending on, the whole attention that it gets, or it can last maybe about 4 years even.
How deep into it are you at this point?
A half a year now.
Okay.
I'm doing it for 6 months.
All right. Well, that's a lot of progress in 6 months.
Yeah. And we are also having a Karen's Law rally on June 25th at Harrisburg at the Capitol building in the main rotunda. And it's an open event. Anybody can attend, and so that'll be a good thing. So that'll draw a lot of attention to the bill as well.
Yeah. Do you spend a lot of your time working on this?
Yes.
But it is, it is your passion and it is your purpose at this point in time.
Yeah, definitely. And it helps me, get through what I'm going through, and to just know that I could be helping other victims that are in the same situation that I am. Because, it's not just me. It's thousands and thousands of people that have to go through this. And if I can make a difference, then, that's what I want to do.
Do you think you're going to hit like an anticlimax when it passes? You know how you work on something? It's like a wedding in some respects. You work on something so long and so hard, and then it happens, and you're like, oops, what's next?
I know. Well, I'm right now, my head is just in getting it to that point.
Yeah.
I'm focused on getting it there and seeing it pass.
Do you have like a team of people that help you?
Yeah, actually I do. I don't know if I'm allowed to say who they are, but I have a lot of advocates on my side who definitely are, and you're definitely one of them, Donna.
Thanks. I was so taken by your story, and it's criminal to me that this isn't already part of like the process, and I get infuriated that victims have to relive what happened to them time and time and time again just at the whim of some, and I struggle to use nice words. I struggle a lot. Person that decided to have a mental break or whatever the heck happened to that person. It's kind of interesting when you look at, we're talking in a combination today this week about the power of commitment plus mental health, because that seems to be where the focus is. I do shows and I see what comes with each theme each week, and mental health has been such a big one this week. Actually right now because of the suicides of two high profile people. But, there are times in life when the door opens to start having meaningful conversations and really truly move something forward, and shame on us if we don't take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, thank you, Karen. Sorry, I didn't mean to get on my soapbox there, but sometimes I do that.
Fine. That's great.
So let's wrap it up. Karen's Law, SB 1023. You can like her page on Facebook. Please show your support, people. She really needs it. Victims really need this. It is a simple phone call. You can do it right now. Senator Greenleaf's office, 717-787-6599. Keep an eye on this bill. Please do what you can. Karen, thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it. We're going to take a break here from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.